Hey YouTube, That Homeschooler here, doing a review for Sleepy Hollow. This is Season 2, Episode 2, The Kindred. I did not do a review for last week's episode. I had the flu, I wasn't feeling up to it. But this is a much better episode, so let's just get into it. The Kindred. Now we are starting to really get down to this nitty-gritty and understanding more and more. The episode starts off with Ichabod Crane's wife being dragged to this pit of fire, this circle thing, and I will never understand why people do this. They are being dragged somewhere and they're asking, "Where are you doing? Where are you taking me?" I will never understand that, but she's doing that. It's the Headless Horseman. It's there, and her son Henry, and he's explaining to her that you are here because we need to reclaim your spirit. And I'm like, we finna get into some Illuminati stuff. Hey, sacrifice up in here. And the horseman has cut his hand and he's pouring his blood all over her. And Henry is saying you need to, cleanse you out. You need to be more like him because Edward, your boo, he been waiting to be with you for a long time, but you need to be more like him. And the horseman takes this axe and it looks like he's getting ready to sling it for her neck, cut that head off, and it turns out to be a dream. Ichabod is dreaming. So he wakes up and the lieutenant is there and she has informed him, the horseman, he's back, he's here, but we need to find out where he is. She pulls out this map and she has pinpointed a radius to where the horseman could be, but Crane needs to look at the map and figure out where in this radius he is. Because the sun is out now, he can't be in the light. Darkness cannot be in the light. So she needs to leave and meet with the new captain, the new head chief in charge, who happens to be a woman. So she leaves Crane there. She goes down to her precinct, her office, to meet with this new person. She meets with the chief, the commander, and she's late. The commander doesn't like that. The commander ends up, actually knowing her from childhood. The lieutenant's childhood was pretty rocky. And the, chief was like, "I was called out to your house a few times. I remember your mom." And it turns out that the commander is thinking that all these body parts that are coming up around town and all the things that have been going on is because of the cartel, the drug lords. And the lieutenant is sitting there like, this is going to be crazy. This is going to be weird, because it's like, she wants to sit there and say, "No, ma'am, this is not because of no drugs or no drug lords. This is about a story that we all thought was a fairy tale." And she can't do it because this person is just being so adamant. I ran with the drug lords. I know what it's like. The cartels leave body parts in the street to instill fear into people. And the lieutenant's sitting there just like, "Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am." But she goes outside and Crane is there and he has pinpointed an area where he thinks his wife is, where the Headless Horseman is holding his wife. And it is the area where she had accepted Edward's proposal. But he also comes in with this new information. Why was he so in love with Crane's wife? Well, it wasn't that it was so much love, it was business. His father had told Edward, if you marry this young lady, this could, increase the financial aspect, of the life, make the family better. As a lot of people did back in the day, they married for business. So marrying for business is nothing new. I just thought I'd throw that out there. Anyway, so, the lieutenant and Crane are driving in the car, and they are going to where they think Katrina is, Crane's wife, and where they're going to be holding this ceremony that Crane dreamed about. They are going to that area where they think she is, and she is indeed there. But this is one thing that kind of tripped me up. When Crane met the lieutenant at the courthouse, it was daytime. They left there to go find this place. While they are driving there, it is still daytime. Now, where they are in Sleepy Hollow, it's not this really big city. It's very small. And by the time they get to this, what was it called? Sleepy Mouth or Adirondack, I have no idea. But by the time they get to their destination, it is dark as dusk outside. And I was like, really? But they see the preparations of this ceremony getting ready to take place, and to make sure that Katrina is there and the horsemen and everybody is there, Crane throws this rock at the house, then turns the horse, the white horse with the red eyes, and then out walks the horseman. And the lieutenant tells Crane, you know what, let's go ahead and leave and come back when we have a plan, because he's ready to rush in there and get Katrina, because he was saying in the car how that's his wife, and he realizes that Crane himself and the lieutenant are witnesses to what's going on, but he cannot forget his duties as a husband. That's his wife. He really loves her. He wants to save her. But she finally gets him to leave, come on back. And I thought they were going to come back like right then. They were going to go to the car, figure something else, and come back. They did not do that. So they end up back at, the lieutenant's house. The sister is there, Crane. They're there, and they're looking over this paperwork. And while they're looking over this paperwork, they come across some papers that show Crane's wife, Katrina, sister's coven, created a spell that would cause a form that would be able to beat the Headless Horseman. But to do this, they needed Benjamin Franklin's help. And all this was in Benjamin Franklin's book, if you will. And he went and harvested these body parts of fallen soldiers. And then the spell was to make the body rise and to go and get the Headless Horseman's spirit and devour him. But they needed one more ingredient to make the spell work, which was a body part from the Headless Horseman, which they didn't have. So they never rose the body. But Crane and the lieutenant and the sister, they have the head of the Headless Horseman. So they're like, let's go find this body, resurrect it, so we can stop, the Headless Horseman. And lieutenant's like, because we ain't just going to rise up a form. We're not just going to rise up a body. We're going to rise up a monster. We go from them to Henry sitting down at his desk. He is sitting there when all of a sudden this scary music starts playing in the background. He looks up into the magnifying glass. The magnifying glass breaks. He then finds himself in Moloch's lair, and Moloch is there. And Henry says, Father, I'm sorry that I failed you. I will not fail you again. Yada, 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 which I was kind of confused at. And Moloch says, silence. I will find my own way. I will come to earth. And the reason this left me confused, because in the last episode, Moloch gave Henry a body. This body that he could control by using his mind and his movements, that was supposed to help get Moloch there onto Earth. And I do not remember seeing that plan fully executed, nor did I see it fail. So why Henry is saying, I'm sorry, I have failed you again, I'm just completely confused, and I'm not getting. But we go back to the cabin, or the lieutenant's house, and they're arguing back and forth about this Kindred thing, and the lieutenant is just not having it. She does not want to create this body, and they are debating whether or not to resurrect it or to recreate it, because they do not want to create another horseman. And Crane is saying this is the only way. And the sister says, what if we create this monster that's just going to deliver the head to the horseman, and we really don't need to give him any more power? He said this is the only way. And the lieutenant finally says, you know what, the kindred it is, because they really have no other way of knowing. They don't know what else to do. So they are going to go and see if they can't find the head. The head has been locked away. They have to go and find it. They have to go get weapons. And they are just really trying to get everything together, because the last time they tried to rescue Katrina, it didn't turn out too good. Alright, so now that they have decided on that, we switch back to a scene with Katrina, and she's talking to Edward. She's looking at herself in the mirror, looking at that necklace. Edward comes in, and he's talking all types of wrong to her. She was saying, don't come, because he has his head on, that illusion. And she said, you know what, don't try to play me. I don't want to see your illusions. I want to see the monster you really are. And he's trying to tell her, no, honey. No, boo, this is real. This is me. There are no illusions here. And she said, well, what about all the lies? What about all the lies and deceit? You told me the man that I loved was dead. And that bothered him, because he does not want to talk about no Ichabod Crane. And he's trying to mess her head up. He tried to tell her, ooh, it's raining. Anyway, he's trying to tell her, you know what? The man that you love left you in purgatory, okay? He did not come for you. How long did he let you stay there? But he went and got Abby Mills out quickly and professionally, okay? And he's really trying to throw her off her game, but she's not hearing it. She ends up telling him, you know what, I'm not gonna go with you willingly. He said, you know what, I figured you won't, but I hope you will. And he leaves. We go from that to the lieutenant going and seeing the ex-captain, which you should know by now. He is in jail. He is in jail because all the murders that have been taking place, he signed a confession sheet saying that he did all those murders so his child could be free, because they were going to take his child into custody. But he said no. She got there. They are sitting down talking. He sits down. He is all types of beat up. He is beat up, and she's like, what happened to you? And he said, evidently these criminals don't like cops. That's what happened. So he got beat up. She's like, I'm going to talk to the head chief, the sergeant, the head chief, the new person, and try to get you moved. And he was like, you know what, it's alright, what's going on? She tells him, we need the head. And he said, the Headless Horseman's back. And she said, yeah. He tells her that the head is at Sleepy Hollow Savings and Trust Bank. And she's like, at the bank? And he said, no, safety deposit box. The first thing I thought when he said the bank, I thought safety deposit box, but she wasn't there. Slow. But she says, okay, we're going to go get it. He said, please tell me what's going on. And she said, you got enough to deal with in here. And it was something that she said that really made me look at her kind of funny, when they were sitting down and they were saying how he wanted to be moved, and he thought that he could play the insane act and maybe get to an asylum. And she said to him, no, you don't want to go there. We want you close. The way she said that, and his reaction to her saying that, was like, did a demon get in you for a second? How she said, we want you close. That really freaked me out. I mean, freaked me out. Okay, so through all of that, the sister, when, they left the house the last time, the sister was asked to go through the archive tunnel and get all the weapons that they had. She has come out the tunnel She has the bag of weapons. She hears this door opening behind her, so she puts the bag of weapons down, and it's the new chief, the new commander. She says, "Can I help you?" And she says, "Well, you know, this is police headquarters. I should be asking you, can I help you?" And Jenny says, "I'm here waiting for my sister, Abby Mills." And the commander says, "Oh, you're Jenny." And Jenny says, "Do I know you?" And she says, "Well, yeah, I'm familiar with your file. Like, you just escaped from a mental ward, and last week you flipped your truck over on I-94 and left it there, and you walked away." And she's like, "What do you have in that bag?" And Jenny says, "Nothing exciting." And the commander says, "I'm thrilled with things that aren't exciting." She opens that bag. She sees all those firearms. She says, "You're under arrest." Jenny was just like, "Take me away." And she's in jail. Here comes the lieutenant and Crane. They see Abby in jail. They're talking to her, and the commander is right there. The commander basically goes off on them, and you know, Abby's trying to tell her Jenny was there because of me. I asked her to be there, and Jenny's like, "Abby, don't do it. Don't say anything. The guns were in my possession." And Abby looks at her like, I'm really wanting to tell this woman what's going on. And Jenny's body language is saying, "No, don't say it. Don't do it." So they end up leaving there, and they're just like, we really needed Jenny's help right about now. Then it goes to the ex-commander, who is in jail. He is sitting down. He is taking a lie detector test. Now, when they are asking him these questions, asking him, "Did you murder the two guys that were there at the house?" And he says, "No, it was a demon," yada, yada, yada. Y'all know the story. And the answer, the board is showing that he's not lying, but the commander ends up telling him, "You know, you and I both know that there are ways to beat this machine. I have friends at the psychiatric ward that can get the truth out of you and quit these hallucinations for you, whether it's electric shock or it's these shots. I'll make sure that you get the latest treatment." And he's just sitting there like, "You know what? Do whatever you want with me." So they pretty much plan on torturing this man. But next, we move to let me take these glasses off. I can't. We move to Lieutenant and Crane going down into the tunnels now. Now, they cannot use the door anymore. They have to go through the tunnels to get to the archives, all that good stuff, because they are looking for this body, and they do not want to be caught by anybody. So they're down there, they're looking for the body because Benjamin Franklin did, you know, embalm and save a body that he was using, that they were going to use to resurrect to defeat the Headless Horseman. They end up down there. They are talking about Abby's visit in purgatory, and she was saying how much it got to her, and she was going to stay there indefinitely because she thought the demon that she was talking to was Crane, and Crane offered her water and she was about to drink it. And as you know, when you're in purgatory, you don't eat and drink nothing that anybody gives you. Doesn't matter who you think they are, you just don't do it. And she was about to drink the water, and how much it proved to her that he is her faith in him is her weakness. And this light bulb kind of goes off, and he says, "Do you think Katrina is my weakness?" And she doesn't really say yes, but I want to say yes, that is your weakness. But they end up finding the body that Benjamin Franklin created, and they are so happy. And we move back to the place where Katrina is and Henry. And first of all, what is their son's name? Is his name Henry or Jeremy? Because I could have swore they were calling him Henry all through last season up to now. Then I hear Katrina call Henry Jeremy. What is his name? What is his name? Anyway, they move to that scene, and Henry/Jeremy is talking to Edward, the Headless Horseman, about Moloch's plan. Here comes Katrina, inching over, trying to hear what's going on, and she's inching over so much she ends up getting seen. So she's trying to back up, and Henry says, hello, mother. Yeah, Ichabod Crane knows where you are, and they are coming to save you, but the question is, who's going to save them? And she starts to cry, and it's like, can we just get to it already? Yes, the lieutenant and Ichabod Crane have the body out there in the field, and they have the body out there in the field, and they are trying to rise it. And, Crane is reading the chanting words, the Moloch, all that type of stuff. And he's trying to raise his body, and they are outside of the house where the Headless Horseman is at this moment. And this body is not rising the first time. And he says, I'm not the witch in the family, but I'll read this again. So he starts reading it again, and it was time for the Headless Horseman to come out, because they knew that, the lieutenant and Crane were out there. So the horseman is coming. Like, he is on his way. He is on his horse. He is charging at them right now. Oh, but let me go back really quick. Before they put the head on the body, the lieutenant picked up the head, and she was holding it, and she was just looking at it. And then all of a sudden, those eyes popped out, and she jumped, and I jumped up off the ground. I was sitting on the floor. I jumped up, because that flipped me out. I was not ready for that. But as the horseman is charging towards them, the body does rise up, and it was ugly. I was thinking, since this is a kindred of the fallen soldiers that are supposed to be on the good side, I said, this is one ugly some of my body. It was ugly. It looked like something that should have been in Thriller. Okay, so the bodies have, risen. They are here. They are fighting, and the Lieutenant Abby tells Crane, go in there, get your wife, go ahead and do what you got to do, get your girl, let's get her, let's go. So while both bodies are fighting, the horseman and I'm just going to call him Kindred, and Kindred are fighting the other body that I was wondering, where is this other body that Henry can control? That body comes out. So now Kindred has to fight not only the Headless Horseman, which is Edward, but also has to fight this robotic person thing. And Abby goes to the truck and gets the gun. And I was kind of wondering why she was shooting at the robot thing, because mind you, this robot controlled freak thing has on 10 armor, and every time she shoots at it, it's just going doing, 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 and it's like, shoot at the other thing, like, really? And she takes off running, because now the robot thing is coming after her, and Kindred is whooping the Headless Horseman's butt and gets him pinned up against something, and he's about to take him out, and he can't even do it because he sees the robot thing running after the lieutenant. So now he has to stop over here with this and go rescue her. And in the midst of all of that, Crane is talking to Katrina, and his wife is telling him, I don't want to go with you. Leave me here. I have convinced Edward to delay his plans and all this and that, which she did. She was telling him that, She wanted to be with him. This is Edward. She wanted to be with Edward, but I wasn't ready to be your wife. Ichabod Crane gave me all the time I needed. If you try to rush this again, our second chance is going to be ruined, because then we'll be spending our second lives together, knowing that I'll still never be yours. You gotta stop rushing into stuff. And I said, speak that truth. Because when someone is not ready, they are not ready. When someone doesn't want to be with you, don't try to force it. They just don't want to be with you. Don't do it. Don't do it. And I was just like, yes, speak that truth. Speak it. So back to the fighting. Lieutenant runs into the house where Crane and Katrina is, and she says, Crane, we are running out of time. We ain't got no more time. Come on, let's go. And Katrina says, Crane, leave me. Trust me. You have to trust me. And then here comes all the kissing, and I'm like, can we just get into it? Can we just do it? Let's go. All this is love you, and I'm not into all of that. Okay, I came to save you. And he ends up leaving Katrina there. And the lieutenant is looking like, what? What? All her body language in those first 6 seconds gave me, you mean we leaving you here? You mean my sister is in jail? We done went and found this body. I had to hold this head. I had to go see the ex-commander and get this head out of the bank. And you ain't even coming with us? It would not have been me. No, I would have shot her myself. Yes, I would have, because I would not have done all that to leave her there. It was like, what's the point? This whole sole point was to rescue her, and we still leaving her there. I'm just not understanding. So we see Kindred. They are leaving the place. Kindred it has ridden his horse. I don't know where he got a horse from, but he has ridden his horse into the dusk, not into the sunset, into the dusk. The Headless Horseman and the robot thingy doesn't know whether to go after him or go after Crane and the lieutenant, because they go off in two opposite directions. And they finally get to a safe place, and they're talking about everything, and they're saying, well, we hope we won this battle. And they are, trying to calm down for the evening. She says, you know what, I need to go see my sister. I need to go see Jenny. And she goes and sees Jenny, and they are talking. And Jenny says, are you going to bust me out of here? And she says, we got to do this by the book. The captain is a hard nut, and it's going to take a minute. We're going to have to do this by the book. Her sister gets up and says, you know what, just don't take 13 years to come get me out this time. And the very last scene was with the old captain being strapped to this hospital bed, and here comes the new captain, and he says to her, are you getting a front row seat at this? And she said, no, you got a few more minutes before the electro shop. And he's like, you know what, I used to be just like you. I used to think that I had all the answers, but now that I've seen what I've seen, I'm not going to act like I don't know what I know, okay? And she was just like, you know what, whatever. And then walks in his new attorney that he had been telling Abby about when she came to see him at the jail. His new attorney. The attorney comes in, hands the new chief the paper saying that we will not be doing this. You can't do this. Blah 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 blah. And the lawyer ends up being Henry. And I forgot that the chief did not know who Henry was. And I'm thinking, oh Lord, he gonna kill him. He's going to kill him. But the old chief leaves. The new chief leaves. And Henry hands the old chief some papers and says, will you sign this? This is just standard procedure saying that you'll be taking my services. And when he handed him this paper, I said, Lord, he's about to sign away his soul. He's about to sign away his soul. And Henry hands him this pen, and there's this sharp notch on this pen. I said, blood. There it is. There's his blood. He's got his blood. And the blood ends up going somehow into the pen. And it signifies, well, not signifies, it did show he's signing his name in blood. I say, oh, Lord, how are we going to save you? How are we, this is going to be, we're going to get at least another season out of this, because this is going to take a good minute. This is going to take a good minute. But that was it. That was the Kindred episode 2 of Sleepy Hollow. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. It was crazy. This review is really long. This is about as long as the episode itself. So I encourage you, if you have not seen Sleepy Hollow, to look at Sleepy Hollow, because this is just too much for me and my spirit. I need to go watch something a little bit more saintlier, like Hell's Kitchen. That will be coming on tonight, and I will be doing a review for that. So I will see you all next time. Smooches. Bye.